No one tells you that you can sit in church and still feel alone. For many years as an adult, I didn't feel like I belonged in church. No one did anything except for have to create distance from me. I felt like I was in high school again with the cliques. It wasn't a nice feeling. The one time or several times that I went to Sunday school, I didn't feel accepted. It didn't feel authentic. It felt fake. And other times that I went to Sunday school, I wasn't accepted in a way that didn't feel right to me. One Sunday school class cried and said my sister was going to hell because she was a Catholic. That wasn't okay with me. I eventually found a Sunday school that I thought would work. It was on biblical history, which I enjoyed. But as far as connections with other students in class, I felt nothing. I still felt that sense of distance from them. I always thought church was supposed to be a place that you felt comfortable, that you felt like you could breathe, you could have that peace. You wouldn't be so alone. But that wasn't my experience. When I was married, neither one of my husbands went to church. And it felt even more alone. And I felt even more like I had failed because I couldn't get them to church. And when I would tell people in passing, they would ask about my family, and I would tell them, they're like, "Oh, well, where's your husband?" And I said, he doesn't come to church. And I felt like it was a failing on my part that I didn't make them come. But you can't make someone else come to church. That has to be their decision. All the conversations I had at church felt guarded and not authentic at all. I felt like I had to have a big boundary around myself to protect myself. I didn't like how when someone had stopped going to church, people would say, "Oh, they'd backslidden." That was not right. That was distancing yourself from others when Jesus didn't teach that at all. It was said that Jesus spent his time with what was considered at the time sinners, and that he took his time with people that were considered untouchable, and he loved them. The experience I had in church was so different from that of Jesus. I saw opulent wealth all around me, and it didn't feel good. It felt fake. And I didn't feel safe on how to explain that I didn't support the doctrine, that I was only there for the connections. The doctrine, if I had any type of comment on the doctrine that was less than what others thought it should be, they would try to explain my problems away. My issues were, God, just pray about it. When I went through a time that it was I had something very hurtful happened to me, I needed assurance. I needed someone to hold my hand with my decisions, not with theirs. They told me I needed to pray about it before I made any rash decisions, and not to go about protecting myself from this person that was abusive to me. Pray about it. I'd prayed about it till I was blue in the face. I had a great fear of being corrected or prophesied over, proselytized over. The time where you are being guided into a church. My sister experienced something of that nature when I was young, when we were both young. At a revival, the pastor invited those who had sinned to stand up. My sister was the only one that stood up. And all have sinned. She expected everyone to stand up, and I agreed with her. Everyone, it says that everyone is a sinner, yet no one stood up. I felt more welcome in pagan and non-Christian environments where I was met with open arms, and my beliefs in my way were supported. I wasn't questioned. I wasn't hurt. And I met many people like me who had been hurt with the church. It wasn't a dramatic reflection or boundary that was broken in later years. It was more so that there was a deep misalignment. This is not where I wanted my life to go. Many of the things that were said in church were of the patriarchy. And at the time that the books were written, the separate sections of the Bible were written, that's exactly what was going on. Deep patriarchy. That didn't serve me. I left because I needed more honesty. I needed to ask my questions, the curiosities I had. I needed to be honest. I wanted that badly. I wanted that badly. And sometimes the cost of becoming is belonging. And it was something that was hard for me to understand. But I finally came to a time that I wanted that becoming. It was a time in my life that I felt like it had to happen. Sometimes giving yourself space and peace is the best thing you can do for your life. If you've ever felt alone in a group full of believers, know this: you are not broken. You are becoming. Using your path. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to become. Sometimes becoming costs the familiar. Have you experienced this? Comment rebuilding.